Ah, summer. Oh, that feeling of being out on the water, or maybe the back porch with an ice cold drink in your hand. Maybe it's lemonade, iced coffee, or sparkling water in your favorite emotional support cup. Just enough time to take a breath, maybe crack a smile, and get a little boost that will help you today as a leader. Welcome to the vibe of the Joyosity Summer Sips. So, whether you are a seasoned leader, you've been here a long time, or you're just figuring out what Joyosity podcast is, or a new leader kind of figuring out your way through the chaos, you belong here. And we base all of our work on three bedrock beliefs. Number one, true leadership requires more than surface level strategies. It requires a profound commitment to everything that makes us human. And number two, using genuine curiosity, we can create positive culture with complex people because, listen, complex people are all we got. And number three, joy is the heartbeat of a healthy leader and a healthy organization. So we put joy and fun and play right in the center of our work. I'm Jenn Whitmer, international speaker, leadership consultant, author, and all-around joy bringer, hosting you and guiding us along the way. With my co-host and podcast producer, Shelby Merriweather, we're serving up short, refreshing episodes this season. Just a conversation between Shelby and me that highlight what we learned over the 24-25 season of the Joyosity podcast. Each summer sip is just 8 to 12 minutes long, perfect for your walk, drive, or your morning pick-me-up. So be sure to check out the show notes for the full episodes if you want to dig in more what the full month was about and get a little boost for your leadership in this summer season. And if you want to keep practicing with joy while you're waiting for my book Joyosity to come out this fall, join the Joyosity Works very important party at jennwhitmer.com/books. That's Jenn with two N's, jennwhitmer.com/books. You'll get my 5-minute Friday videos that are quick, practical, and full of joy-fueled leadership tools that you can use right away. So now grab your icy glass and let's take a sip. Thinking all the way back, Kindra Hall opened the new season, which was super fun because Kindra Hall was one of the first people I interviewed when this was just a LinkedIn Live show. Mm-hmm. And she has written 3 books. She's a keynote speaker like I am, and she travels around talking about storytelling. Storytelling is her specific specialty. And her book, The Story Edge, we talked about that. And I think all the time about storytelling because it is also our show. I don't even know what that word is. Storytelling is also part of what I teach people. We just do it differently. I talk a lot more about self-storytelling, and Kindra is talking about the stories that we use as leaders. And the big thing I remember about Kindra talking about in the fall back in August was that whenever there is a problem, there is a story.
Yes.
And that has come back to me a lot when I'm like, why, like when you get that, like, why can't they just, I was like, okay, there's a story here and I need to put some curiosity in front of me. So I don't know what you are thinking about.
Well, and for me, I don't know, this might sound a little egotistical, but I think of myself as like the main character. Like, how would I want the main character to act right now? Like, I wouldn't want to I don't want to look dumb in my story to people. Like, I want to look good. Like, what would the main character that I would like in a story be doing right now? And I loved that. And I do remember her sharing how she came to the storytelling festival in Jonesboro, here in Appalachia, which for me, meant a lot to hear that little side story that she shared, because storytelling in Appalachia is it's just such a big thing. And it's so funny. I always laugh because, the first time I met my best friend's parents, we were at their house up in the holler. There's treacherous roads to get up to it. It's the whole nine. And her dad told me the longest winded football story. It was an hour long of this football story that I was like, oh, okay, great, wonderful. And then at the end of it, he was like, yeah, then Ma shot Pa, and then blah, blah, blah. And that was I was like, wait, that's like the story. Like, I want to know more.
That was long exposition to get to the conflict
about football, and then we like really just jumped over like probably a very traumatic story. But I laugh because it's just like Appalachian storytelling just has always been like hand in hand. So when she brought up that she had been in Jonesboro, I was like, oh, okay. Like I leaned in and I was like, she like when we're talking stories, like we're talking stories. Like, and so I loved that she had all that like background and all that expertise and also like had that humanity. Like she was very much with that idea of like recognizing we're in stories every day. Like
every day.
how are these stories playing out? And how can we show up as better humans in our stories, like when we tell our stories?
Well, in your story right there, about Kindra talking about being in Jonesboro, which connected you to something,
Yep.
is the meta point of stories. I don't know who originally said it. My business coach Harris says it all the time that the shortest distance between two people is a story.
Yes.
And that's what connects us. And Sally Z, who is my speaker coach, she wrote a whole book about speaking story. And it's like the power of story. And your story just illustrated that when we tell stories, part of our brain that is critical and it's like the internal jerk in the back of the room just kind of goes to sleep, and the rest we can connect, and it's so much more powerful. And it's such a funny
I remember
little
too
thing.
with that one. I remember in our In Case You Missed It episode, the thing that kept coming up for me was that my 4-year-old kept wanting me to tell him stories about times that I had made mistakes or times that I had broken something or times that I didn't go to bed when my mom told me to go to bed, like that kind of thing. And I remember, and like, as we're talking about this over the year, I've thought more intentionally about like, well, what stories do I have that would help my people, like not even just my kids, but my team recognize that like, hey, I've been there, I've done that, I've messed up in that way, like it's all good, like let's keep moving forward. Because I think a lot of times as leaders, people view leaders as like infallible in a way at times, and we forget that some of the like best leadership, at least for me, is when I hear somebody's story about them failing and how they overcame it.
Yeah. Well, connection is in the imperfection. Like that's how we connect. Or we love a good underdog story. Nobody wants to be the underdog.
Exactly.
Like we don't want that part, but we love a good underdog story.
Yes.
I mean, absolutely. And the other thing that I am often reminded of I can't remember if it was the podcast interview when Kindra said this, it was another conversation I had with Kindra, like just because we have talked, or if it was in her book. So that's super helpful. But she talks about the story. There's like an ancient, I believe it is a Chinese proverb, and it might be a Japanese proverb, but it is this story that continues in a cycle. So the farmer horse broke his leg, but because the broken leg turned out better, and then this went bad. Obviously Kindra tells the story better because I'm not actually telling you a story. But like when we're in the middle of the story, sometimes we think we're at the end, and that's not actually true. Like when we're in the middle, that's why I love the main character energy. And when I'm working with people, I'm teaching them how do you want to write this story? Because you get to be the author of this, how you think about it, what action you want to take next. And when you're in the middle and we think we're at the end, I think that's when we kind of come unglued and like, oh, remember that. Okay, we're just in the middle. This isn't over yet. It's really powerful.
Well, and like, I have been thinking a lot about like the whole butterfly effect of how like one thing leads to another thing and leads to another thing. And I think like with that idea of like, it feels like the end. So for example, like, for like me moving to a certain area felt like that's where we were going to be forever. And then it wasn't, right? And how it's like, oh, and because of that, I met this person and this happened and that, and it's just all kind of building our story. And when you look at it, like with an eagle's eye. It's like, oh, like how beautiful and cool is that? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I sing a lot, one, because it's a catchy tune, but I also love the message. It's an Andy Grammer song that the subtitle is It's Lisa's song. Why I can't remember what the regular title is, but if it's not all right, then it's not the end. And it's like, it's just such a good like reminder of if it's not all right, then it's not the end. And
yeah,
this the chapter in your story. Turn that page and grab that pen. And
yeah,
it's like, yeah, I get to write this. I get to do
yeah.
this. And it's just, again, it's such a catchy tune of his. But I sing that and think about, yeah, I don't have to stay here. This isn't the end. And it could be horrible, but it's not
Mm-hmm,
the end. And
mm-hmm.
I think that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Oh man, such a good reminder of storytelling. All right. Now don't just nod along. Go do something with what you just heard. What's your one tiny action step? And make sure you check the show notes for the link to the full episodes Shelby and I were just talking about if you want more than just a sip. And get in on the Joyosity Works very important party at jennwhitmer.com/books. You'll get the 5-minute Friday videos straight to your inbox, quick, useful, and full of joy-filled leadership tools. So we will see you next week for another sip.